Was it also important for you, because of your background, to actually delve into this music and maybe the history of the music?
I don't know if it was necessarily important, but it was definitely easy for us because we'd come from this kind of background.
Yeah.
The cumbia in Tucson is different than the Peruvian cumbia, but a lot of elements still remain the same. So it was like speaking Spanish language in Argentina versus the one in Venezuela. Yes, you can understand, but if you spend a little bit more time in Venezuela, you're going to pick up on that accent too. And that's how it was with us and Chicha. It was a little bit different, but we understood it and we learned to make it ours.
Maybe a strange question, maybe too hard to answer. But was it did you feel like coming home music-wise with this music now, or is it too exaggerated? What I'm saying.
I think maybe not so much coming home, but I think a lot of the concept, especially with the title of the record, Bloodline, was that everybody who came together in this band, everyone brought who they were and where they came from, and so I think everyone's natural abilities and natural spirit created something new. It was not a place any of us have ever been before, and I can certainly say I've never heard another type of music that sounds like the record we made. So I think it's certainly a new place that we still have a lot to find out about.
So you still have a lot to find out about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think...
How many? Maybe 10-20%? Or?
I mean...
I had 15.873%.
I think we're both
okay.
really curious and excited to see what the next record's going to be, because I think certainly through the writing process we were still learning a lot of the Chicha songs and figuring out how to incorporate that style into our natural songwriting abilities and the different members' natural backgrounds. And I think the next record's going to be even more realized into what we're trying to do.
Can you explain a bit more, like you say, the different backgrounds? Like what do they bring in? What is it? Something that you talk about, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a huge aspect of why we are able to do what we do. Winston Watson, our drummer, played I think 5 years with Bob Dylan and Alice Cooper, and he comes from a arena rock. He's a big drum set, gong, loud drummer.
Which you don't see in any cumbia ever. Yeah. So that's like the most glaring difference between what we do and what.
Yeah, and then our percussionist, Efren, comes from a strictly Latin percussion background. He can play a drum set a little bit, but he's congas, timbales, he can name you every Colombian cumbia artist to date, but when he joined the band, he had no idea who Led Zeppelin was or Black Sabbath. And I really think a lot of our sound lies in those two guys, because it's so complementary to each other. Winston is just a rock of solid rhythm, and Efren plays percussion like a wild rock and roll drummer.
But is it then, did you pick those, this band is then, it started out as being guys actually like to play together, then actually picking someone that matches the sound that you have in your head? It's just...
It wasn't like we didn't have tryouts or anything. No. It was very organic, like Gabe said earlier. We haven't had to try too hard with anything so far. The hardest things we've had to try is getting to shows on time and and making hotel arrangements. But when it comes to music and personnel within your band, all organic, super easy. Recording has always been organic. And that's why we're so excited for the next record, because we honestly can't tell you where it's going to go. We're going to start and see where it ends. And that's what makes music exciting for me, for Gabriel, and probably for anybody who does it. You want it to take you somewhere and not the other way around.
The album called Bloodline. Was it a specific moment that you decided on this album title, or was it just a starting point for you?
We recorded the record ourselves in our own studio, and so more than any projects we've ever been involved in, we got to take our time and not rush in any way. And Brian and I had been spending just, I think we were doing like 40 to 50 hours a week in the studio just doing overdubs and we had recorded the song Bloodline and had recently written the lyrics for the chorus. And I remember it was just, we were just talking, I think, in the studio, and he brought up, hey, what did we call the record? Bloodline. Right away, just all the concepts, it just makes so much sense, came to mind.
Like it.
Well, what inspired the lyrics for Bloodline? A specific.
You had the verses, right?
Yeah, it was. I came to the band with I think all the chords and the music and the verse, but had no chorus. And I think the verses, I think that's one of those songs where I can look at it now and I'm still trying to decipher what it is really saying. I think it's more painting a picture, more aesthetic than anything.
Yeah, I think it's more of that song, particularly on our album, is way more of like a linguistic aesthetic as opposed to actual meaning. Well, that's also subjective too, because you could have a perfectly logical answer better than our answer to what that song means.
But so it's for you, it's more about the feeling than actually to pinpoint what the songs are about.
Yeah, and I think that was such a fun aspect of writing this record, was that we could really create spaces and landscapes, both in the musical realm, but also lyrically, instead of singing such straight ahead storylines, or it could be a little more abstract and lend itself to the artistic and visual side.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.